The truth of the matter is this, that if you only regulate and define your time of meeting God by when the gathering happens, you will never experience a Kairos moment. Exactly. Kairos was not a conference. Let me help you right there. It was not a conference. It was not defined by a wristband. It was not defined by a registration. It had nothing to do with Thursday, Friday morning sessions, Friday night service, or Saturday morning. It is everything of an opportune time for you to get to know your God for yourself. Amen. There are faculties and things inside of you that come alive when you experience a Kairos moment. Things that you have been not utilizing, things that have been laying dormant, things that were not active in your life, that once you experience Kairos, they come alive. They're utilized, and you need more moments like that. So not only will you know your God, but you'll know yourself. Amen. You have been depleted by chronological mistakes, failures from your past. Some of you are replaying 1996. The summer was bad for you. 98 won't go better. 2005, that thing happened. And for some odd reason, you can't shake the chronological events of your past to experience the moment that God is trying to give you. And there is a window that is closing. And I don't want to seem like I'm being dogmatic or tough or rough or anything like that. But there is a window of opportunity that is closing. Not for you to go start the business, not for you to go open up a building, not for those things that you've defined by your ambitions and stuff that you want done. But I'm talking about a window of opportunity that's closing for you to meet your maker. This will be an hour, this will be a season that God will give you access to Him like never before. The problem is you didn't need God in the churches that we've been coming from. You didn't need God in the settings that we've come from. Only thing you need to do is fold the bulletin the right way. You need to stand on the door the right way. You need to do duties and tasks. And as long as you were doing duties and tasks, it was everything that you had to utilize the Holy Spirit that was inside of you. You didn't need the Holy Ghost. You didn't need discernment. You didn't need prophetic activity or any of those things because you were grown, you were matured, and you were nurtured by acumen. But now comes the hour that God is going to limit you in acumen and activate the anointing in your life. And it's only going to happen through Kairos. He will take people who don't know how to do the certain things that church has granted the opportunity to do. You won't know how to read the announcements. You won't know how to read Greek or Hebrew. But He'll put an anointing on your life, a captivating type of anointing. And curiosity will rise up in people and say, what's going on with them? Why did something change all of a sudden? Why are they speaking different? Why are they responding different? What's going on Chamberlain Avenue? That they showing up to church. We ain't been to church in 5 years. We ain't been to church in 10 years. Wasn't this going on? Wasn't that going on? You are meeting and beginning to interact with a Kairos moment that's going to change every dynamics of your life. There will be no disclaimers given out. There will be no instructions given out. There will be no responses given out to justify to people what's happening in your life. This is your Kairos moment. And the difficult part of it all is that your Kairos is fighting against your Chronos. My God. You're running out of time. You're running out of time. There's too many opponents. There's too much opposition. There's too many things that are stacked up against you. And you feel like you don't have enough time to justify that I should give it my all. That I should sacrifice, that I should make this change, that I should commit myself and dedicate myself like I should. I feel like I should just throw it all in and give it all up. But the truth of the matter is this: God will use deadlines to bring you to a place that you die to yourself. That's not preaching that you like. You want to touch your neighbor preacher, and you want to shout, and you want to run, you want this little feel-good gospel, but we always partying. But I'm going to tell you something this morning. You're going to have to die to your will. You're going to have to die to yourself. You're going to have to die to your way. If you want God in another way, this ain't your grandmama's God, this ain't your daddy's God, but you need to know God for yourself. And if you want Him in a way that's going to change the trajectory of your life and begin to limit the enemy's activity in your life, you're going to have to make some modifications in your will, in your ambitions, in your thoughts, in your ways. We need somebody to peel back the layers of their flesh and their pride and say, God, here I am, broke, jacked up, messed up. I ain't got eyes, I ain't crossing T's, I got issues, I got problems, and I need a moment with you just to be real. We have adopted a premeditated, preconditioned gospel gospel that says you don't have to change. Just look good. Practice your praise at the house. Make sure everything is nice and crispy and clean. Make sure all these I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Just look the part. If you look the part, you can grace your way to get a certificate. You can grace your way to get a title. We might let you sing a song. We might even let you preach every so often. But God is looking for some people that are not leveraging their attributes and their attention off of getting a title or a position. I need to be opened up. I need the things that are not like you to be removed from my life. I need to be stitched back together and made new. God is trying to reintroduce you to yourself for the time that has been lost in previous seasons. The Kairos moment. Because you only give me 45 minutes on a weekly basis to peel back years and years of chronological letdowns. I can't do that in 45 minutes. I can't shout or spit or yell enough to deal with what happened over the last 10 years of your life. I need a Kairos moment to be able to minister to you. And I'm afraid of these preachers that you're allowing to lay hands on you and prophesy to you and stand before you and wave their little spiritual hand as if they've been seeking God and they ain't had a moment with God. They ain't praying and seeking God. They're giving you leftovers. They just put a gravy on it. This was stuff that happened last year. You need something that's going to protect your future. You need something that's going to protect your destiny. You need something that's going to give you a hope to things to come and not things that were. Because the things that were have made you numb to the fact that God is still relevant. And you have to live off the preceding word that's speaking out of his mouth. You become numb that God is trying to do a new thing in your life. So you settle for this leftover gospel that God is good all the time. And all the time, God is good. No, he's not good all the time. Truth of the matter, he's bad. And when I say bad, he'll strip you and make you angry. He'll strip you and make you frustrated. He'll limit you and make you go to a place that you don't want to go. He's an angry God. He's a jealous God. And we need to know God for who he truly is and not what we've been told.
Come on.
I'm just a little frustrated. Maybe it's my heart for people. Maybe as Christ looked at the multitude and he was grieved, maybe that same burden is what preachers need to pick up.
That's it.
I'm not coming against no church when nobody else is doing. My concern is your response time. Now listen, advice is good when your back is against the wall. You know, from Big Mama. Big Mama might have the best advice. She always comes through in the clutch. But the truth of the matter is this. With certain levels of warfare that hit your life, you ain't calling Big Mama. You calling the EMTs. You calling the ambulances. You calling people that's going to step in and be able to put your life back together. The pieces of your life, because of whatever, have fallen apart. You not on the phone like, hey, I done had an accident. My car has flipped over into the ravine. What you think I should do, girl? You think I should get up? You think I'd be all right here? No. You calling 911. See, don't call that number if there's no emergency. But if there's an emergency, there's only three things that you need to push on that dial pad. You ain't going through your favors, you ain't checking Facebook, you're calling and reaching out to a person or to a people that can respond in the nick of time. And the problem with the body of Christ, you've been preached to, you've been prophesied to, but you've become numb in your response time. See, this is why we can't get real worship out of people. This is why we don't get real praise out of people, because we've been numb. We've been desensitized to what God really wants in this hour. And what he really wants in this hour is not just you standing up when the word hits you, but he's looking for a bow down people, a people that have lingered and put their heart in a place that they respond when heaven listens. See, the only way that you can get heaven's attention is that you respond when he sends out his word, when he sends out directives, and you say, here I am, send me. Here I am, my answer is yes. I am looking for people with a 911 anointing on their life. And they're not sitting back looking for somebody else to step up, but they're looking to create a Kairos. See, it's one thing to look for a Kairos, but God has given you an anointing. He's given you an anointing to create create what has been absent in the earth, to create what's been absent in our churches. He's not looking for Donald Trump to do it. He's not looking for politicians to do it, but he's looking for the true sons and daughters of God to begin to respond to heaven with a yes and an amen so that he can move on our behalf. I gotta move quickly. Let's work this text. The Bible declares, where are we at? Joshua 10, 5. All right, listen. Then the 5 kings, somebody say 5. The 5 kings of the Amorites, the kings of Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmuth, Lachish, and Eglon, joined forces. Somebody say join forces. They joined forces. They moved up with all of their troops and took up position against Gibeon and attacked it. The Gibeonites then sent word to Joshua in the camp at Gilgal, do not abandon your servants. Listen, come up to us quickly and save us, help us, because all of the Amorite kings from the hill country, somebody say hill country, the hill country have joined forces against us. Now listen to me. The cry for the people in this hour is not good church services. It's not lights, camera, and action. We need good leadership. Some of y'all talking over ambiance and decoration. And I just like the way it looks. I love the stretchy fabric. It says, look, you don't need that. You need leadership. You need, look, when the cry of desperation begins to muzzle up inside of you, it ain't about stage presence. It ain't about a graphic designer. It ain't about none of that stuff. It ain't about what you see. You need somebody that's going to lead you and guide you from a desperate place, from a hurting place. You can't go follow the favorite. You're going to have to follow somebody that's have the language of your life in their mouth. And God is raising up people that's giving their future to their mouth. Your future is in somebody's loins. And until you connect yourself and begin to give you a quiet taste of destiny, you will stay stuck in a place where God has left you. But God is moving in such a way that you're going to have to look for the right leadership to take you from where you are to where God's called you to be. Church don't have building problems. Got leadership problems. Who do you cry out for when your back is against the wall? You need leadership. You need to be led. So Joshua marched up from Gilgal with his entire army, including all the best fighting men. The highest acumen of people were in the church. The best artillery men and fighting men were in the church. He didn't call the National Guard. He didn't call the Army Reserve. And when there was a cry for help in the city, when the city was up under attack, he brought in the church. I'm sad because we call for the Red Cross more than we call for the church. Disaster hits, we need the Red Cross. Disaster hits, call in and bring in the National Guard. When the church becomes the church, the city will call for the church when there's desperation in the land. Leave it alone. The Lord said to Joshua, listen, pay attention. Do not be afraid of them. I have given them unto you, unto your hand. Not one of them will be able to withstand you. After all night march from Gilgal, Joshua took them by surprise. The Lord threw them into confusion before Israel. So Joshua and the Israelites defeated them completely. Listen, the battle was done. It was already over. They defeated them completely at Gibeon. Listen, Israel pursued them along the road going up to Beth Horon and cut them down all the way of Ezekiah and Makkedah as they fled before Israel on the road down from Beth Horon and Ezekiah. The Lord hurled large hailstones down on them, and more of them died from the hail than were killed by the swords of the Israelites. On the day the Lord gave the Amorites over to Israel, Joshua said to the Lord in the presence of Israel. I'm going to stop right there. We see a storyline of events that took place. A couple of things you need to happen to pay attention to is that God had already promised the victory to Joshua and his people. The victory was already done. They did not have to fight as hard for this victory because God sent a hailstorm. And in the midst of this storm, God allowed their enemy or their opponent to lose despite them having swords ready to fight. Scripture tells us that there was more people that died at the hand of the hailstorm storm than there was by the sword. So that what goes to show that when you're being led by God, you won't have to fight as hard. I question people that are always going through. I question people that are always suffering. How you doing? I'm just making it through a lot of warfare. That would make me think that God is not leading you. Because sooner or later, God will send a storm into your life that will expose your enemy, and he will fight for you. See, we don't know God to be a fighter for us because we're trying to do it on our own strength and on our own head. But there has to be a sense of confidence in the midst of your storm. The reason why people leave the church, the reason why we're not consistent in the things of God is because we have not discerned our storm. The storm that hit their life was not to kill Joshua or his people, but the storm was to fight on their behalf. Can I prophesy to you just for a second this morning that what you're dealing with right now is a God-ordained storm? You're not used to it because your last preacher used to tell you the storm is passing over, but you need to thank God for the storm that you're in right now, because it's killing your fear, it's killing your doubt, it's killing your insecurity, it's killing all those things that's not like God, and it's showing you that you don't have to break a sweat, you don't have to draw a weapon, you don't have to fight, that God is fighting your battle. On that day, the Lord gave the Amorites over to Israel. Joshua said to the Lord in the presence of Israel, watch this. Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and moon over the valley of Ajalon. So the sun stood still, and the moon stopped, till the nation avenged itself over its enemy. And it was written in the book of Jethro, the sun stopped in the middle of the sky and delayed going down on the full day. There was never been a day like it before or since. A day when, watch this, the Lord listened to a human being. Surely the Lord was fighting for Israel. Then Joshua returned with all of Israel to the camp of Gilgal. Here's the premise of this text. As we are fighting to regain and restore days that we have lost, as we're looking back over the chronological events of our past, and we're considering that 2005 wasn't a good year, that we suffered great loss just 3 months ago, God is trying to introduce you to a Kairos moment that won't all be interjected by him. But God says, I'm going to give you leverage in your words in this hour. And I'm going to cause you to speak certain things and prophesy certain things that you're not used to. And the reason why most of this will go over your head is because you're not used to speaking to things outside of people. You're used to giving people the last word and giving people a piece of your mind. But God is trying to mature you to a place that you begin to speak to your time and introduce Chronos to Kairos. That's why you're quiet, because you're still living by the defeated past that you're trying to outlive and outrun. But God is going to limit you from just running from your past and begin to introduce your Kairos to your Chronos. And God wants you to open your mouth this morning and say, time, stand still. I lost a lot last year. I suffered a lot last year. But God, give me a measure of time to get my balance back, to regain what was lost. The Bible declares that when Joshua began to open his mouth and he began to speak to the sun and he began to speak to the moon, it says that the sun was directly over top of him. This was the hottest point in the day. It was the noontime hour. And the reason why he told the sun to stand still, because even though the fight was already won, he had some unfinished business. I wish I had a couple of people in this place that feel like I can't go into the second half of the year because I got some unfinished business. I know God's already worked it out. I believe it. I understand it's already done. I receive it, but I got some unfinished business with those that lied on me, with those that slanderized me, with those that dragged my name through the mud. I got to still figure some things out for myself. God, strengthen my hands to war. Strengthen my hands to fight. The battle's won, but I got to put my hand on this thing. For a moment, Lord God, let the sun stand still. For a moment, Lord God, let the moon stand still and give me more daylight savings time to fight. For a moment, I used to think that daylight savings time was a God thing. I thought it had something to do with the moon, the universe. Upon my research, I realized that this was something that was man-made. It was something that said during certain parts of the year, we're going to change the time and hours so that we can get more work out of people. I was so disappointed and frustrated because I had a belief system that said, this must be something of God's doing. See, y'all believe it too, but y'all don't want to be honest and say it. And I said, this must be something of God. You know, Wikipedia and Google and all these things that we use. I began to research and realize that this was something man-made. That they begin to extend hours on this time and lower hours on this time off the strength of labor and work. And then I went to the Word, and I saw in the Word where it says that Joshua had the audacity to speak to the sun. Now, there had never before or after been a day like that. This was an opportunity to expose the first daylight savings time. That Joshua opened up his mouth and he began to say, watch this, sun, stand still. But don't just stand still right here. It's significant that you understand that he told the sun to stand still in a certain position, because 5 of his enemies, known as the Hilly people or the Amorites, had come together and had joined forces, and they had positioned themselves against the children of Israel. So now here it is that Joshua has to fight. He has to stand, even though he's been promised that the battle's already done. But he said, God, I want the sun to stand still right here. Because if it stands still right here, it'll give me more daylight time to fight my enemy. Now, I got 5 against 1. It's 5 of these people. And the Amorites were known for hilly people. They were known for hanging out in caves. They were known for patrolling and moving around mountaintops. And if you were one that was in the valley, they actually had an advantage against you as a hill person, because they could throw rocks down into the valley. They could roll stuff down the hill and kill you. This was a positional type of warfare that they took against you. But do you not know that God is going to use for you time in such a way as positional warfare? You think warfare is just shouting and praising, but God's going to give you time as a positional warfare piece to get back at your enemy. And what's going to take place is this: you're going to have to open your mouth, and you're going to have to speak the things that don't speak back. You're used to prophesying to people and trying to figure out if you got it right. You know, is it your left knee? Is it your right knee? Is it your foot? Is it your arm? Oh, I can see that God is doing this. All of that is generic in nature. You can sit there and go through the anatomy of a person and figure out if it's their head or their toe. But God is going to give you a sensitivity to the angelic realm, the invisible realm, and you're going to have to begin to speak the things that don't have a mouth, but they have an ear. You quiet? Let me say it again. You're going to have to begin to prophesy to things who don't have a mouth, but they have an ear. The sun has an ear. The dirt has an ear. Trees have an ear. It says everything that has breath, praise ye the Lord. So it comes to a point in time that God's going to give you the increase of an inclined ear to fight against the enemy of your destiny and your future. Here comes the hour that God's going to give you a mouthful of word, a mouthful of revelation, a mouthful of insight, a mouthful of wisdom. And as you begin to speak, and as you begin to prophesy, and as you begin to open your mouth, He's going to cause the sun to work in your favor. He's going to cause the storm to work in your favor. He's going to cause the night hour to work in your favor. He's going to cause the moon to work in your favor. God says, I'm going to give you victory before you lift your hand, because I'm going to have the elements to work in your favor. Earth, wind, and fire are going to work in your favor. Open your mouth right now and begin to cry out to God. Something special is about to sweep through this room, because you've been waging war the wrong way. You've been fighting the wrong way. And you've been numb to the fact that you have not seen the manifestation of what God has promised into your life. But now comes the hour that the victory won't be at the falling of your enemy. The victory will be that God will honor your word. You don't understand how powerful this is.
Thank you, God.
Because you've been defining success by the failure of people. And you have not defined success by having listened to what you have to say. The beginning of my message, the most demeaning nature that you can have against a person is that full-blown into conversation and you're not paying attention. Could it be that God has given you directives and instructions for your future, but you have not been paying attention? Heaven has opened up on your behalf this morning. that when you begin to cry out today, heaven is listening. Now, the remarkable thing, at the end of the text it says, there had never been another day like this. Not before or after, not because that heaven stood still, not because the sun didn't move, not because that Joshua told the moon to stay still, not because of the victory, but the success and the significance was defined. There had never been a day like this that God listened to a human being. You're quiet because you haven't had his ear in a long time. Chronological affairs of your life have pushed out the sensitivity of heaven's response. God is opening up his ear this morning. And there will never be another day like this in your life. Listen to me. I can put such a demand on that statement because the ear of heaven is open over this house. The ear of heaven is open over this place. Heaven has opened up, watch this, not to give. See, we've been taught and conditioned, open up the floodgates of heaven and pour out. We have not been taught, open up heaven and hear my petition and my cry. The one thing God told me was, over the next 6 months, you're going to have to desensitize my people to church as usual. They are not used to hearing from me as well, me hearing from them. We've been used to when praises go up, we've been conditioned at this exchange as if he's an ATM machine, as if he's a bank teller. And we go in and show our identity and give our license and then we get something out. We're not used to going up and not saying anything and getting something from heaven. Now comes the hour that he's going to open up his ear on your behalf. And it'll be another day like this in your life. Everybody stand. It's about to get real crazy in here. Because some of y'all gonna have to go far. You're gonna have to go, you're gonna have to go hard this morning. You're gonna have to go with your hands. You're gonna have to go so far into the presence of God. And when I say this, you need to understand the significance of it because you haven't, and I'm not throwing shade against no church, no pastor. It's not my responsibility. I don't care about that. We have not been conditioned to have heaven's ear. Because if we were conditioned to have heaven's ear, we would not be living chronological failures. The defeats and the problems that we're facing would not mean anything, but we're still held bound by beacon scores. We're still held bound by envelopes that come to our house with different colors. We're still held bound by 800 numbers that we don't answer. So it shows and proves that you need a Kairos moment. You haven't leveraged your Chronos appropriately. You need God to interrupt and intervene into your life. He says, I'm giving you my ear today. I'm giving you my ear today. And here's your responsibility. As he gives you his ear, you have to give him your mouth. Now, in church, we do what's called peripheral worship. That means our worship intensifies based off of what the next person does. So that idolatry type of worship moves God out of the spectrum. So if they worshiping over there crazy, then we can get crazy. But the problem is they're going to get there. They're going for broke. You don't know the hell that they've been through. You don't understand how heaven has been closed up. And we got preachers that heaven has closed up a long time ago. We got praise and worship leaders. Heaven has closed up a long time ago. Musicians that play and heaven's been closed up on their behalf. Could it be that the reason why we see murder and mayhem and crime and drugs in our community is because heaven's ear is not inclined to a people? When heaven's ear is inclined to the people will be able to respond and speak and prophesy and sing and sound the alarm that confusion will fall upon the enemy. I want you to open your mouth today and I want you to begin